Navy SEAL candidates enter the water before sunrise. They run with boots full of sand. They carry logs overhead until someone drops. And through all of it, one thing holds the body together. Not the arms, not the legs, the core, not muscle for show. Muscle that works when everything else is gone. No machines, no cables, no equipment a modern gym would recognize. 4 exercises, 4 principles, 1 outcome. A core that does not break, not just for a six-pack, for a midsection that holds when life hits. A fall, a heavy lift, a year of bad posture, a decade of bad chairs. Most people get this wrong. They drown the abs in volume. 300 crunches, sit-ups until the neck gives out, then they throw their back out lifting something they've done 100 times. Your core is not a sheet of muscle on the front of your stomach. It is a 360-degree cylinder. It must resist 4 forces: extension, rotation, lateral collapse, and compression under load. Train all 4 and your midsection becomes unbreakable. Train only the front and it stays brittle. These 4 exercises cover all of it. No equipment, no exceptions. Exercise 1, the hollow body hold. The hollow body hold comes from gymnastics. It is the first position every serious athlete learns before touching a ring, a bar, or a vault. Every advanced calisthenics move, the front lever, the planche, the iron cross, traces back to this single shape. The master pattern, the position that teaches the entire body to brace as one piece. It also appears in Navy SEAL physical conditioning for the same reason. A SEAL in open water is not relaxed. The body is held rigid against current, against cold, against exhaustion that would shut most people down. The hollow body hold is that shape. Same demand, different environment. Lie flat on your back. Press your lower back into the floor. Flat, hard, no daylight underneath. Arms extend overhead. Legs extend straight. Lift your shoulder blades off the ground. Lift your heels just off the floor. Your body forms a shallow curve, a crescent, lumbar spine, pinned to the ground. That last part is the entire exercise. Your lower back stays pinned. 5 seconds in, most people fail. Not because the abs are weak, because the lower back arches off the floor. That arch is the failure point. The moment a gap opens between your spine and the floor, the rep is over. Not when it burns, not when it shakes, when the gap opens. The rectus abdominis, the transverse abdominis, and the hip flexors fire together to keep the spine glued down. This is not isolated AB work. This is full system bracing. The same pattern a SEAL holds underwater. Body rigid, no wasted movement, no energy spent on anything that doesn't serve the mission. Same neurology, different application. Start with a tuck hollow hold. Knees pulled to chest, arms by your sides. Hold to failure. Failure is the moment the lower back lifts, not the moment it gets uncomfortable. When you can hold the tuck for 30 seconds clean, extend one leg, then both, then add the arms overhead. 60 seconds in the full position is the threshold. Pass it, and every other exercise in this video gets easier. This is the foundation. Skip it, and the rest of the routine has nothing to stand on. One of these 4 exercises will challenge your core in a way most men have never experienced. It is not this one. You will find out which one before this video ends. Exercise 2, the bird dog. The next exercise looks like the easiest one on this list. It is not. The bird dog is the movement Dr. Stuart McGill, the spine biomechanist whose work on injury-proof training is the modern reference standard for military and athletic programs worldwide, places at the foundation of every bulletproof core. The reason is anti-rotation. The ability to resist twisting force is what separates a midsection that holds under chaos from one that folds. A slip on ice, a heavy object catching one side of the body, a sudden change of direction under load. The midsection either holds the line or it doesn't. The bird dog trains it to hold. Get on your hands and knees. Hands directly under your shoulders, knees directly under your hips. Brace your abs before anything moves. Extend the right arm forward and the left leg back at the same time until both are parallel to the floor. Here is what everyone misses. The hips cannot rotate. The lower back cannot arch. Imagine a glass of water sitting on your lower back. That water cannot spill. Not a drop. Hold for 3 seconds at the top. Return under control. Switch sides. That is 1 rep. Aim for 10 clean reps per side. Or stop the set the moment the water spills. Whichever comes first. The moment the hip rises on the extending leg side, the set is over. That rotation means the stabilizers have quit and the larger muscles have taken over. Larger muscles doing stabilizer work is how backs get hurt. Most people never catch it because the movement still feels hard. Hard and correct are not the same thing. Most people can hold a plank for 2 minutes. Most of those same people cannot complete 10 clean bird dogs. SEAL training understood this distinction long before sports science put a name to it. Endurance without precision is just fatigue. Twist, leak, collapse. The system fails. Lock, stack, breathe. The system holds. The bird dog also recruits the posterior chain, the spinal erectors, the glutes, the deep stabilizers that the rest of this routine does not directly hit. These are not glamour muscles. They are the muscles that keep you training at 45 the way you trained at 30. That is why the bird dog earns its slot. Exercise 3, the side plank with hip dip. This is the exercise most men skip entirely. The side plank with hip dip trains anti-lateral flexion, the ability to resist sideways collapse. This is the plane almost every core routine ignores. It is also the reason athletes who can plank for 5 minutes still buckle under a unilateral load. They can brace the front. They have never trained the side. The obliques, the quadratus lumborum, and the serratus anterior are the muscles working here. In SEAL training, these are the muscles that hold the trunk stable during a loaded carry, an asymmetrical water entry, dragging a man out of the surf. In your life, they hold your spine in line every time one arm takes the weight and the other doesn't. A bag, a box, a child. One side loaded, one side free. The lateral chain is either ready for that or it's taking damage every single time. The progression has 4 stages. Stage 1, the static side plank. Lie on your side, prop up on one forearm with the elbow directly under the shoulder, feet stacked. Lift your hips off the floor. Your body forms a straight line from ankle to shoulder. Hold for 45 seconds per side. The failure point is the sag. The moment the hips drop toward the floor, the set is over. When 45 seconds is clean on both sides, move on. Stage 2, the side plank with hip dip. Same position. Lower your hip toward the floor slowly, then drive it back up. That is 1 rep. 8 clean reps per side, controlled on the way down, no crashing. The lowering phase is where the oblique is loaded the hardest. Rush it, and you lose most of what makes this movement worth doing. The burn on the way up is not the point. The control on the way down is. Stage 3, the elevated side plank. Feet on a chair or a low box. Same movement, longer lever, significantly harder. Most men find this more demanding than it looks. That is the point. Stage 4, the weighted hip dip. A weight plate on the hip or a loaded backpack. External resistance added to the same pattern. When you reach stage 4, you have built lateral chain strength that most men in commercial gyms will never develop. On the floor, no machine required. Most people will live in stages 1 and 2 for months. That is the point. The obliques do not respond to being rushed. Exercise 4, the dragon flag. This is the aspirational move. In its full form, it is one of the hardest bodyweight core exercises that exists. A body held completely rigid from shoulders to heels, lowering against gravity with absolute control, the trunk acting as a single lever rotating around a fixed point at the shoulder blades. Bruce Lee did it on a bench. He gripped the surface behind his head, lifted his entire body off as one locked piece, then lowered it slowly without ever breaking the line. No bend at the hip, no collapse at the knee, one rigid lever, moving under complete control. The dragon flag trains anti-extension at maximum output. The rectus abdominis, the obliques, the hip flexors, and the lats all fire under full load to keep the body rigid against gravity. Done properly, it is the closest thing to a 1 rep max for the core that bodyweight training produces. It is also the exercise that answers the open loop from earlier. Nothing in a commercial gym will load your midsection the way this movement does at full extension. That is why it is on this list. The progression has 3 stages. Stage 1, the bent leg dragon flag. Lie on a bench or any stable flat surface. Grip the surface behind your head at shoulder width. Press the shoulder blades into the bench. Lift your hips and hold your body weight on the shoulder blades alone. Knees stay bent throughout. Lower with control. 3 seconds down. Never let the back slam down. The failure point is the slam. The moment your back drops to the surface uncontrolled, that rep did not count. Control is the exercise. Without it, you are just falling. Stage 2, the straddle dragon flag. Same grip, same anchor, same controlled descent. Legs extend wide. The lever gets longer. The difficulty doubles. Most men spend several weeks here before the full version becomes available to them. Do not rush it. The straddle version is a real training stimulus on its own. Stage 3, the full dragon flag. Legs together, body locked from heels to shoulders in a single rigid line. 3-second descent, every rep without exception. You need a stable anchor, a heavy bench, the base of a couch, a bar mounted low on a wall, hands gripped behind the head, not above it. This is critical. Hands above the head remove all lat involvement. Without the lats, the lower back compensates and the movement falls apart. Most failed dragon flags fail here, at the grip, before the body even moves. Train it twice a week. Never to failure. The dragon flag rewards quality, not quantity, the same principle that governs every movement worth training seriously. Your protocol, 3 days per week, non-consecutive days. In order, hollow body hold, 3 sets to failure. Failure is when the lower back leaves the floor, not when it burns. 60 seconds rest between sets. Bird dog, 3 sets of 10 reps per side, or until form breaks. 3-second hold at the top of each rep. 45 seconds rest. Side plank with hip dip. 3 sets at your current stage. Hold or reps to failure. 90 seconds rest. Dragon flag. 3 sets of 5 reps at your current stage. 3-second eccentric on every rep. 90 seconds rest. Total session time, roughly 25 minutes. 3 times per week, this protocol builds 4-plane structural strength across the full cylinder. Extension, rotation, lateral collapse, compression under load, all 4 planes. No equipment required. If you are running this correctly, 25 minutes will be enough. More is not better here. Better is better. Visible abs depend on body fat, not just training. These exercises build the muscle. What you eat determines whether it shows. The training is the foundation. Nutrition is the reveal. Every rep should look the same. The moment form changes, the set is over. The body that holds under a loaded carry is the same body that holds through a fall, a bad lift, a year of long hours, and poor posture. It was never about the six-pack. It was about the cylinder. Build the cylinder, and everything else follows.